Welcome back to yet another episode of me and the normal type boys clearing out Reborn's entire wild Pokemon population. Last time, we fought Aya in the wasteland, and finally, were able to use strength in the field. We also had 221 Pokemon, a number we're soon to pass by quite a lot. Now that we have strength, there's a bunch of areas we can access now. Starting in the wasteland, by talking to a guy in one of the buildings while it's raining, we learn that there's a Squirtle somewhere in the wasteland. By going all the way back through those tunnels, we can go up and back down a ladder to access a new area, then push away a strength boulder. Going up and to the left, we're able to grab some neat items and battle and catch our first non-starter starter, Squirtle. This brings us to 222. Back in the central area of the wasteland, I talked to a random gravestone that reads Kiki's name. Heading up at the top, we push a boulder away and enter a room to read another gravestone. It looks like we have to fight Kiki's ghost. I only ended up winning this battle because of some very good luck. This probably took me maybe 12 to 15 tries. But anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. She leads with the level 65 Huge Power Medicham. What I did was led with Ditto so that I could get a copy going, and then started using Thunder Punch. I got a Paralysis, and then, luckily, was able to get one hit off before she was able to hit me. Then all I had to do was send in Staraptor to Aerial Ace. Again, this relied on luck. I'm sure I could have figured out a strategy that would have won without it, but I was very lazy. Anyways, for winning the battle, we get to have Miss Drevis. This brings our total to 223. That's all I had to do in the wasteland, so I hopped back on the boat over to a Poffle. Towards the top of the mountain, I find a strength boulder, so I push it into a hole. Falling down the hole, I find another starter, Tepig. After it runs away, I chase it down to the basement of the volcano, then again to the peak where I'm able to catch it. This brings the total to 224. Next, it's time to do a little bit of story progression. After making my way back to the underground railnet in Peridot, we emerge in a part of the North Obsidia Ward surrounded by cracks. There's a link stone hidden here, so I pick that up. Then, I head into the Uriu building. At the top of Uriu, we get the chance to battle either Sigmund or Sirius. The story splits a bit here, but to get one route that gives us the most information and has the best scenes in my opinion, I choose to battle Sirius here. Luckily for us, it's a double battle with the help of Kane. He leads with Minior and Tyrantrum, so I decided to go with Staraptor and see if I could get a close combat kill on Tyrantrum. Unfortunately though, even with Nidoking, I wasn't able to take out Tyrantrum, and Minior got off a Shell Smash in the meantime. Things weren't looking too good here, and then he switched to Chandelure, completely rendering my Staraptor void. So I decided I would send in Diggersby to see what I could do here. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that his seed had activated, and so he got Magnet Rise up on Chandelure. Thus, Diggersby's dig did absolutely nothing, and so it didn't look like quite a good start for the battle against Sirius. I went for Bounce, but unfortunately wasn't fast enough, and so I went down. So did Kane's Nidoking and Muk, so we were already down 4 Pokemon without having knocked out anything. I sent in Ditto to copy Chandelure, realizing that I could just start spamming Heat Wave and hopefully would be able to get some kills. This actually proved true, as when Kane sent in Primarina, I was able to wipe both of the Pokemon on his side with a little bit of HP soon to spare, and then, again, on the next turn, deal some more damage. Unfortunately though, with Golisopod and Toucannon out, they were able to use Sucker Punch and knock me out. I decided I would send in Pyroar to see what I could do here. Flamethrower was able to do a little bit of damage to Golisopod, switching it out of the battlefield, which was a little bit nice here. He sent in Seviper, so I was able to use a little bit more Flamethrower and take Toucannon down low. With Meowstic on the field from Kane, luckily this made it pretty easy because I had a good type advantage going on against Seviper, and I was able to take Seviper out as well as Toucannon really low. Tyrantrum came back in, but both Tyrantrum and Toucannon went down straight away to a Hyper Voice. All that was left was Golisopod, so all we had to do was spend a few turns attacking it, Meowstic and Blissey, and we were able to take it down for good. This is kind of a tough fight, except because we have a 12-on-6, it really wasn't too tough. After beating Sirius, we pick up the Railnet key and head back into the underground Railnet. We enter a new section of the Railnet using the key. Here, we can smash a bunch of walls. Inside one, I find a house key which lets me use the Mover Learner, but more importantly for this run, I find the Corrupted Pokeball. We'll be using this 7 to 9 episodes from now to get a new Pokemon, so don't hold your breath. After solving a maze and escaping the tunnel, I actually head right back inside to access a new area of the Railnet. Though it's dark, we find and rescue a guy down here. Then, I head all the way down and through the tunnel to find the TMX for Flash. Before I use Flash in the area though, I head back to Obsidia Ward. In the Pokemon Center, I talked to the guy we just rescued, and were rewarded with a department store sticker. The new floor has all the type effectiveness berries. While we're here, I pick up all 6 of the power items as well, as sometime in the next few episodes, behind the scenes, I'll be EV training all of my team to be able to keep up with the harder battles. With a headbutter in my team, I head back to the area where we found Flash. By headbutting a metal pole, I'm able to catch Aron, bringing the total to 225. Now, exiting the railnet for real, we're in an entirely different region of Reborn, so there's a lot of different encounters we can get right about now, including a lot of those worthless single-stage Pokemon that tend to be in every single game. So anyways, let's go ahead and get right into it. First, I enter the Tanzan Mountain to the north. Inside, we encounter and catch Kecleon and Sandile, as well as Alolan Geodude. Immediately to the left, we can find a Lunatone chilling here, so we catch it too. This brings our total up to 228 since we didn't include Geodude twice. Heading to the top of the cave, we're able to leave and enter the Tanzan Cove. In the morning, we catch Poliwag, Poliwhirl, Ducklet, Cutiefly, Ribombee, Oricorio, and Audino. During the day, we catch Swanna, Dedenne, and Comfey. With all 10 of these Pokemon included, we're now at 238. After getting directions to head towards Spinel Town, we enter the Chrysolia Forest on the south side of this area. In the grass here, during the morning, we catch Spinda, Pikipek, Toucanon, and Farfetch'd. During the day, I catch Trumbeak. Then at night, I catch Volbeat and Illumise. These catches bring the total up to 245. At this point, I had to run to the PC to grab something with Headbutt, and I realized I forgot to grab the third starter we could get during this section. I grab a Chingling from the PC, equip it to Soothe Bell, and get it to love me by running around back and forth a bunch of times. At night, it evolves into Chimecho when I level it up. Then, I head all the way back through the Azuran Island to find a Druggy in the back room. By showing him Chimecho, he allows us to grab the Chikorita in the back. With these 2 Pokemon added, our total is now 247. With Headbutt back in my team, I head back to Chrysolia Forest. Agitating some trees allows us to catch not just Tailo, but a shiny Chatot, bringing the total up to 249. While solving the bizarre teleportation puzzle on the southeast side of the area, I watch a tree teleport away and follow a path to enter the Mycedia cave. Inside, I'm able to catch Alolan Graveler, as well as Smeargle. There are items in the room accessed by going into the entrance nearest to the most rocks in each room. By entering the cave entrance that doesn't have a railroad leading into it, I reach another room, where I'm able to pick up Eevee. After exploring this cave, we're up at 251 Pokemon, the total number of the first 2 generations. A little bit above the path towards the cave in the forest is another path, this time, that leads to the mossy rock grove. Inside, I find another ill-fated doll on the ground. Also, during the morning, I catch one of my favorite Pokemon, Weepinbell, bringing the total to 252. Finally, I finish the maze and enter Spinel Town. In the first house, I can pick up the Good Rod. This will of course allow us to nab more water Pokemon later in the episode. In the house right to the north, all of the girls' furniture is teleported away the minute we walk in, so it's up to us to find it all. The 2 chairs are chilling in the main area of the town, the TV is vibing on a roof, the dresser is upstairs in the museum, the table is taking up a corner of a random building, the bookshelf is in Bennett's room in the estate, which we'll get to in a bit, and finally, the bed is in the Goodrod house. As a reward for finding all these items and doing this quest, we're granted the EXP share, which doesn't work like the lame version that's in Gen 8 and Gen 7 and Gen 6, and is the normal one from the generations before that. Anyways, while we're doing this quest, I watched a fountain, the Pokemart, and a house in town all disappear. We'll find each of these in a bit. Anyways, on the top floor of the museum, we pick up the Evium Z sitting on a table. We won't get the ability to use Z crystals or Mega Stones for quite a long time, but I'm still going to note all of them that we can get as we go. On the ground floor of the museum at night, there are two meteor goons mucking around. They challenge us to follow them to Tanzan Mountain, so we will in a bit. On our way back to Tanzan, we notice that the fountain and the house that we saw earlier teleported somewhere into the forest. By talking to the fountain, a Remoraid will jump out at us, so we catch it and bring the total to 253. Then, we entered Tanzan Mountain. The meteor grunts were, grunts, so we beat them up and returned to the museum. As a reward, we're offered one of the Unova fossils, so I picked the cover fossil since it doesn't really matter for my run. We can get the other one later. Upstairs, there's a guy who offers to revive any fossils we have. By having to spend the $500 entrance fee every time we go in and out, we're able to revive Omanite, Kabuto, Lilith, Anorith, Cranidos, Shieldon, and Tortuga. This brings us up to 260. Next, I grabbed my male Burmy from the PC, one that we caught all the way back in the first episode. After a few quick levels, it evolved into Motham. Then, I took Motham into the house that teleported into the forest, and traded to the guy inside. As a reward, we get Trapinch, bringing our total to 262. On the south side of the forest, I watched another tree teleport away, then enter the train that's chilling down here. I pick up an egg that's inside and add it to the party. Back in Spinel Town, there's a small trick we can use to get a certain Pokemon line one badge early. I grab my Shelmet from the PC, then talk to a nerd in one of the buildings. He wants to trade Carablast for Shelmet to trigger their evolutions, so he'll give us a Carablast. As a result of the trade, it evolves into Escavalier. With these two Pokemon added to our total, we're now at 264. Next, we have to do just a little bit of backtracking to grab the next set of Pokemon for the run. I head back to the Tanzan Cove, good rod in hand, to do a bit of fishing. Here, I'm able to catch Mantike, Lovedisk, and Basculin, bringing the total to 267. Back in the city, I use the Good Rod in Lower Peridot to catch a Skrelp, the 268th Pokemon for our decks. Then, I walked all the way back to Barrel Ward and through the Barrel Cave, all the way to the Totem clearing area. By presenting the ill-fated doll we found in the grove to the Totem, we're able to catch LGM, bringing us to 269. Next, I did a bit of breeding. First, the egg from the train hatched into Cacnea. I also bred and hatched my Palpitoad to get a Timpole, because we weren't able to catch a Timpole earlier in the swamp. One more Pokemon I put into the daycare was an Escavalier, and hatched another Carablast. I also took my Totodile from the beginning of the game, as well as Tepig, Chikorita, and Squirtle, and bred each with Ditto. I stored the eggs I got from each of these in the PC to plan ahead for a quest in what will likely be the last or second to last episode in this series. Anyways, with Cacnea and Timpole added to the total, we're at 271. Back in Peridot Ward, I enter the fishing hole from episode 1. Using the Good Rod, I fish up and catch Sea King, bringing the total to 272. I head back to Apophel Island one more time, and add Lovedisk to my party. Here, someone will trade me a Darumaka for it, bringing the total to 273. That's about all we can do in this area, so I head back to the Chrysolia Forest once again. There's one final secret area we can access in the forest, through a teleporting tree on the north side. Once we make it through, we get to access the Chrysolia Spring. Inside, I grab the hidden Linkstone and run around the area to get some encounters. Here, I'm able to catch Simipour, Pansear, Simisear, Gastrodon, and Camerupt. With a Good Rod, I fish up and catch Clauncher, bringing the new total up to 279. Finally, I head back to the nerd and give him my Carablast for his Shelmet, which then evolves into Excelgor. With all 4 of these Pokemon now added to the Pokedex, this brings our total up to 280. I figured it was finally time to head over to the gym, Before the leader though, I had to fight her son Bennett, a bug-type trainer, on my least favorite field effect of this game, the mirror field. Bennett leads with Larvesta and has a bug-type team that takes advantage of Quiver Dance and a lot of accuracy and evasion things in this fight to get going. I started out with Cast Form, hoping I could get maybe some Weather Ball action going, but unfortunately, Larvesta was able to take Cast Form down pretty quickly. I took advantage and used Staraptor on the next opportunity, and was able to get off in agility while Larvesta healed. A single Aerial Ace was all I had to do to take it out, but unfortunately I got caught with Flame Body on Larvesta's way out. Venomoth really wasn't too tough, all things considered, it's just that it took 3 shots of Aerial Ace to kill it because of the burn. This was actually about as opportune of a timing as I could hope for my level up, because Staraptor was able to learn Brave Bird shortly after. Masquerain came out, and even though I was burned and at -1 attack, Brave Bird still took out half of its health. So I sent in Pyroar as soon as Staraptor went down and went to town. Butterfree and Masquerain both went down very quickly. One perk of the mirror field is that if you use a special type attack and it misses, there's a chance it gets reflected by the mirror, and that's exactly what happened as Vivillon went down. Unfortunately, I wasn't lucky twice in a row, and Dustox avoided my next flamethrower. Didn't really matter though, because the next one was able to kill it, and that was all I had to do to defeat Bennett with my normal types. After the battle, I realized Cast Form probably wouldn't really be pulling too much weight for the rest of the run, so I grabbed Minccino from the PC, evolving it into Cinccino via Shiny Stone. I also took it to the Mover Learner to grab a couple moves that make its set really stand out. This brings the episode total up to 281. Finally, we head into the final room for the gym battle with Sarah, again on the mirror field. One other thing I forgot to mention about the mirror field is that basically the gimmick is that anything that increases your evasion makes it so that you have an increased critical hit chance. What I did was started with the synthetic seed on my Exploud to get the boost from the field, and then I went for Boom Burst. Boom Burst not only got a crit because of my evasion, but then broke the field immediately after, making the playing field a lot more even. Ninetales was able to get up Aurora Veil as well as a Nasty Plot, but thanks to my 2 boosts in evasion, I was able to dodge both of the attacks that came after it and take it out in 4 shots. Unfortunately, Jinx was able to break through my evasion boosts, so with Exploud gone, I had to send in Pyroar. Luckily, this kind of was a pretty easy fight from here. Even though Jinx brought Pyroar pretty low, Aurorus was able to be taken down to almost half before it could take out Pyroar, and then all I had to do was send in Staraptor to get a close combat off on it. Unfortunately, Frostlass came in next, which I was a little bit worried about because of how fast it is, and it was able to take down Staraptor in a single turn. I decided to send in Cinccino, since I was able to give it Rock Blast at the move tutor. Luckily, it wasn't able to take me out in 1 hit, and 5 hits of Rock Blast was all I needed to take it out. Sandslash was last, and although I wasn't able to kill it with Cinccino, all I had to do was send in Diggersby, go underground, pop out, and eliminate Sandslash and Sarah's Mirror Field team once and for all. Anyways, as a reward for beating Sarah, we get the Rhyme Badge, as well as a TM for Aurora Veil. We also get our badge cap raised to 55. Thanks for watching today's episode. This one was a bit of a doozy to make because of how many Pokemon we had to catch, but the next one will probably be a bit more quick and to the point to compensate. Anyways, like the video and leave me a comment. Subscribe too. As always, have a good one, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.